Assalamu alaikum. So first of all, I don't think I'll be able to give you all the philosophy and the intellect that was previously offered. I hope I will. So let's hope that I can get onto that. Let me start off very quickly by saying they just called the election. So how many of you have been following that? So there we go, show of hands. All right, so they're calling Trump. And so that's going to be very interesting next 4 years. It's definitely going to be defining how both the world and Saudi Arabia in particular is going to be progressing. So that's an interesting thing. This is a very interesting time that we live in, obviously. Technology, global shifts, amazing things that are happening. And so just, getting a handle on where we are right now is always just, the next step. You're always trying to figure out what we're heading towards. So it's not just that data is available and information is available, but really there's been amazing shifts happening globally in technology and in the region and in our country. What we did was, over the past 15 years that I've been involved in Saudi Arabia, I've really seen technology grow. And over these 15 years, we've seen data centers come in, command centers come in, lots of ICT and IT projects taking place, a lot of data starting to happen. But I remember when we used to talk about the fact that this country had a very young population. Well, that young population has come to age, and so has the data requirements. So what we're seeing now is an explosion of data that's going to need to be stored and kept and analyzed and utilized. And so I appreciate the previous talk, which was basically capturing all of that. And that really goes into what we are trying to do. So as Desert Dragon, which is a company that was recently formed as a joint venture between ICS Arabia, which I'm CEO of in Saudi, and CMI, which is China Mobile International, which has the largest mobile subscriber base in the world, over 500 million subscribers. You can just imagine the scale of things. So Desert Dragon was launched with the intention of, again, providing data centers. Now, data centers are obviously the place where we host all that data, where we provide all that compute. And they're obviously energy hungry and specific locations. So, to get into it, what we've been doing is ICS Arabia, over the past, as I said, over a decade, was building data centers. We used to design them, we used to build them, we used to provide various different solutions within them. And amongst the ones that we've done recently, we have MBS1 and MBS2. Yes, those are the actual names. You can look them up on Uptime's website, because they now do have DCCI. And these particular data centers are being provided for the Ministry of Interior, where we are currently in the process of delivering a number of solutions that are going to be very, very important for the future of data center technologies within the kingdom. Now, we always focused on the government. So we always almost implemented various different solutions for various government entities. We worked with the Ministry of Interior, we worked with the Presidency for State Security, we worked with a number of agencies within the kingdom that were always data mining and providing data solutions. Having had that experience, and again, we did a number of command centers. This is a recent command center that we just launched last week. It is a 290-seat command center. And again, as you can see, it's for one of the largest banks in the kingdom. This was the requirements that were the typical requirements in the kingdom at that time. We also built one of the most prominent data centers, which actually not only did the uptime design facility certifications, but actually has a code operation certificate. So that's really the golden ticket, right? And this one is currently managed and run by our team for Sadaya, which, as you know, is the premier agency for Saudi data and AI. And again, this was the pedigree that ICS Arabia had in the kingdom. It had a number of projects executed under its belt. So, having done done those over the past couple of years, it came to our mind when Vision 2030 was announced, and one of the requirements was that we want to go from the current 300 megawatt of data center capacity available in the kingdom to about 1,300. Sorry, I take that. 300 to 1,300, right? So you're going from 300 megawatts of data center capacity, and Vision 2030 said we want to take this up all the way to 1,300. That's a 1,000 megawatt increase in data center capacity. That's literally quadrupling what we currently have. That's a huge goal that was put together. And we looked at that and we said, this is interesting. Because what it says is that the government of Saudi Arabia recognizes that there is going to be an amazing explosion of data and compute requirements in the kingdom. And what those will do inevitably is they're going to require a significant amount of infrastructure investment into the kingdom that is going to bring about that exchange. And I'll be honest with you, when I look at that number, I still think it's low. I still think it's low for the reasons that were aptly recognized a little while ago. We now have this new vision where we want to have data protection within the kingdom. So a lot of that data that previously used to go onto the cloud, to the US, to Europe, to various other regions, is now going to be stored well within the country. And that's great. That is a positive move. But it obviously requires infrastructure. And that's the next thing. Where do we get all that infrastructure from? So we started looking at this problem and how to solve this. Because that's always been one of our driving things. We look at these things. I'm an engineer. And I just can't help trying to solve things, right? So we looked at that and we said, there's got to be a way to create that amazing required infrastructure. And we have to figure out how we can achieve that within this very limited time frame. And we need the right partners to be able to do it. So, taking that into account, we decided to create Desert Dragon. Now this is an amazing sort of a name. I'll tell you why we came up with that name. But it captures a couple of things. The first thing it captures is the word dragon, and I'm sure all of you know dragons are a very common theme in China, in the Far East. And when we were thinking about this, we said, who would the right partners be to be able to work with the quantum that the future holds, be able to deliver things in the time frame that we have. And we thought, why not work with some of the best entities in the Far East? So as I said, we reached out to China Mobile International, the largest subscriber, the big telecom providers in the world, and they partnered up with us. We were very proud about that. We also reached out to a couple of other agencies globally, and they all partnered up with us. So, having done that, we created a JV, which is now creating data centers within the kingdom. And what our plans are, we're currently launching data centers essentially in all the key cities within Saudi Arabia. So we have already started construction on the Al-Kharj 59 megawatt data center, and also are in the current design phase within the Riyadh downtown data center. Again, because of proximity, one of the key concerns are sometimes you want to have data well within the city limits, and other times, as we rightly pointed out, and you are, I'm sure, all aware of, energy efficiency and energy availability are key concerns that are in the data center market right now. So, with that in mind, we've currently launched 2 data centers already, and are in the process of designing Dammam, Jeddah, and eventually also Neom. And this is the roadmap that we've come up with. Now, as you can see, that's 187 megawatts of rollout that we have done this year. That's an amazing undertaking, but it is something that is very much in line with what the kingdom wants to go to. And so now that you look at that number, let's say about 1,000 megawatts that needed to be added in, yeah, we're almost at 1/5 of that. So that's an impressive thing for us, and it's an impressive thing for the kingdom to be able to deliver that, and we hope within the next 2 to 3 years. Now, I know everybody's talking about that, and we obviously all are from the industry. So what are the things that we want to do? Well, we've spent a number of years trying to really fine-tune what it is that is required in the kingdom. It's obviously not data center conducive environment. The temperatures are severe. We have to deal with those elements. We also have to develop a technological base, technicians, engineers, capable of managing and sustaining data centers. We've had to train teams to do that. We've had to really, as you would say, fine-tune things for the local environment. And that's something that we take very, very pride in. Yes, we are now aiming for a carbon-neutral supply chain. That's something that we believe is something that is a part of our sustainability efforts. We are what we consider in the region's 4th generation design. So we've really taken all of our designs, and by the way, every single design we've ever done has been not only certified by Uptime, but also the facilities have been certified by Uptime, and the operations side. So again, we do go through the entire Uptime process, not just the design and then forget about it. But having done that, we also got the sustainability side. The operations sustainability side is one of the hardest things. If you've ever heard of DCOS, that's really the difficult part. And so that's something we developed with them. We developed IT systems that would allow our trouble ticketing system and our entire management systems, facility management and DCIM systems to be able to work with that. So those are things that we managed to achieve. And so we consider our current design, both the facility as well as the operations, to be a 4th gen design that we've internally developed. Further, we're obviously now moving into renewable energies. One of our partners happens to be Top Solar, which is one of the largest solar farm manufacturers, solar cell manufacturers in China. And so we're bringing them in with the intent that we are going to be able to utilize some of that within our new data center facilities. Again, we have taken on a very difficult undertaking. We are now launching what we would consider possibly Saudi's first immersion cooling data center. So that's going to be another big challenge. It is something going to be the requirement for the future. I know there have been some small scale ones, but we're trying to get into a really large scale, and I'm going to show you some of that. We also developed an AI applications in-house, which are helping us with the operations management for our data centers. So again, to try to get our energy efficiencies up. I know the previous talk was about that as well, but you know what? It is an interesting field. We're looking at environment-friendly influence. Now, of course, you know the industry certifications and standards, and I'm sure you've heard of all the big names. I just wanted to throw them out, be able to show you that yes, this is some of the things that we look at. What is it that we're doing? Well, at this point, we have a $1.9 billion US dollar investment in Saudi Arabia under the Desert Dragon banner. We are, as I told you, already launching the Al-Kharj and the Riyadh downtown data centers, and we hope to have them operational by March 2026. And we've taken this to the next level. We've actually signed up end clients with a negative penalty on us if we don't get these on time. So that's the level of effort that we've put into this. And again, right after that, we're going to be launching the Jeddah data center and then the Dammam and the NEOM data centers. And we have a preference for Saudi-made. That's another thing. Even before the local content certifications came into being, we used to go out and work with vendors to try to make sure that they can design things to the best level and be able to utilize a lot of that locally made equipment. Sorry, I kind of skipped an important part, which was we hope to create a number of jobs within Saudi Arabia. So this is what the Dragon design is. We are currently launching a design, so again, I hope you can see it in there. So it does look like a Chinese dragon, and that was one of the concepts that really brought us home. And so we've got a number of hyperscaler data centers as well as immersive data center buildings within the complex that are going to be providing the scalability. So this really gives us the ability to really, deliver as the need. And move forward with that. We currently have 850 racks per block in up to a 13 kilowatt configuration. And again, this is just your hyperscaler, so again, this could be increased. Also the emergent racks, which are going to have 100 kilowatts of data. This is what our conceptual designs look like right now. I hope you can see that there's a effort that has been put into it. We're also providing office spaces, which are managed office spaces in 24/7 knock and sock environments. Again, building on the expertise that we've had over the past many years. And another thing that we have done is we've tied up with Modon, which are the industrial facilities in Saudi Arabia, to be able to execute these at the scale that we want to within the kingdom. So what is the design going to be looking like? Well, and we were just having that conversation. And if you get my business card today, you're going to see that it has a bit of a shape to it. And so this was the design that we have. Again, our 4th generation design, which has a very unique dual bay function. Hello? Yep. Alright. So it has a dual bay capability, so you can actually have your own within the facility dual racking systems and have a completely redundant system. And that is another unique sort of dimension that we've added into our facilities to give you really the highest level of redundancy. And so this solution and design is something that we've really been working on for the past number of years and getting it to the state that it is in today. We're also launching immersive data centers. The idea, again, is to provide tanks that are going to be dielectric and cooled, immersed servers. Again, with the idea that AI is the next step. And AI does have that extreme requirement. As a US firm that has been working with GPUs and is bringing GPUs into the kingdom, we intend to allow various entities within the kingdom to be able to utilize our farms and our GPUs to be able to do the mining and the inference that they want to do. So this is another amazing sort of a step that we want to take so that the kingdom is geared for the next future. Of course, every single facility has a very important element that can't stress it enough. You can't actually have a data center that's going to be 24/7 operational without having a clear understanding of how the operation has to happen. As I said, over the past more than 7 to 8 years, we've spent a great deal of time training the local college students to try to get into the technician and engineer status that they can manage data centers along for us. It's been a very interesting ride. It's allowed us to really develop local ethos, as we say, giving back to the society. And so this is another thing that we're currently working on. So with that, again, Desert Dragon, the key takeaway is, it is an entity that has come into the kingdom with an idea that we are going to participate in the Vision 2030's data center requirement. And having said that, we've taken the bold steps of designing and starting construction on a number of projects with not just hyperscaler data centers, but all data centers. I'd love to have a chat with you. You feel free to come up to me. Let's have discussions on how you think you can help us or how we can help you. I think that Saudi is poised for an amazing future in this particular science. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That is our appreciation for your contributions to our summit